This is your spoiler warning for BoJack Horseman Season 5. If you have not seen all 5 seasons of BoJack Horseman, please leave now. And if you are sticking with me, then let's get talking about it. So, BoJack Horseman Season 5 is easily the best season of the show. It's really fantastic, and it's the best season of adult animated television, or animated television for that matter, that I can even think of. It beats all the others I've seen, which is a limited amount. But it's the best season of this show, and it's just so fantastic the way everything goes together. And this has some really great episodes in it. The Dog Days Are Over was a fantastic Diane episode. That's episode 2 of this season, and just right off the bat, it's just such great stuff with Diane and her figuring out the point at which she is in her life, and just this season's storyline and how it plays into things going on in the world today, and how well all of these ideas are executed. Basically, BoJack is working on this new show, Filbert, and he plays the lead detective, and the way this all works together and these different characters come together. So at one point, Mr. Peanut Butter joins the cast. It just works really well together, and it's just all these elements coming together so nicely. And there are just some episodes in here which are just fantastic. The one I just mentioned, also notably Free Churro, which is just a great episode. It's amazing. It's just BoJack talking for the whole episode, and it's one of the best episodes of the whole season. It's fantastic. It's actually one of the best episodes of the whole show. It's really brilliant, and just the way that it toes the line between just being so emotionally devastating and just also funny at times is just fantastic. And then there's other great episodes like Interior Sub, which is the episode where there's the two people, and they're having this conversation over dinner, and then they're telling these stories, but they're not using their real names, and it turns out their stories are intersected, and it just comes together really nicely. And I love how they play with tons of stuff in that episode. It's tons of fun. It's really funny, and it's just a great episode. And then also another great one is Head in the Clouds. This was a very surprising episode that just kind of took me out of nowhere. And there's this great scene where Diane and BoJack are confronting each other about stuff that's been going on through the whole show. And this might be the best episode of the whole show. I'm not totally sure. It's absolutely fantastic though. But it's one of the best episodes. And there's just that scene alone is just brilliant. And just also the way the show will be dealing with such dramatic stuff and then insert these little moments of comedy, because that's just the nature of the show. And then the showstopper is really, really interesting, and the way that one works together is really visually interesting, and just the way they play around with stuff. I didn't like the BoJack Horseman Christmas special, the one with the actual episode from Horsing Around, but the showstopper has a lot of stuff from Filbert, but it's actually just, for some reason, it's a lot funnier and a lot more entertaining. And the way that he lives his life in this episode basically as Filbert, and how that works for him is really good. And of course the final episode is great as well. And yeah, just everyone has great stuff to do in this, Mr. Peanut Butter and the point he's at in his life, and how we see that he keeps having these relationships and these marriages, and the place that it leaves him on is kind of devastating, where he's gonna tell the dog, I don't remember her name, he's gonna tell her something, and then he says, "Will you marry me?" And it's so bad, because not in the way that the show is bad, because the show isn't, but it's just so bad for him, because God, that hurts. It's like, oh my God, he can't break the cycle. He can't, and that really hurts so much. So hopefully more comes from him in the next season. And of course, Hollyhock is in it for a brief amount, and she is good in this, and the episode with her is quite sad, seeing the relationship between her and BoJack, how it's just, it's not perfect, it's meaningful, but he's not good at having relationships, and just that dynamic is good. And it was only for one episode, but it was good. And Princess Carolyn is really good in this one. You know what? The Amelia Earhart story is a really good episode with Princess Carolyn, and she is really good in this season, and everyone's really good in the season. BoJack is really good in the season, and the way that the season ends with him going to get help is really, really a great place to end. And I really can't wait for season 6 to see how they pick up on that, and how much he actually is able to get help, if that does absolutely nothing for him, or to what extent he is able to get help, which I do think they are going to go in the direction where he is able to get help, but it's hard to really know exactly where the show's going to go. But yeah, season 5 was fantastic. It was very funny at parts and very emotionally draining at parts. I've cried a couple of times during this season, and it's a really good season. Also, Rami Malek is in this season, and I love Rami Malek. Mr. Robot is one of my favorite shows, and he's great in this, and his character isn't in it a ton, but just the way that he's interjected in the season is fantastic. And yeah, it's just a great season of television. I loved it. Overall, I think BoJack Horseman Season 5 is fantastic. It's the best season of the show. It's possibly the best season of animated television I've ever seen. So much great stuff goes on in just a few short hours of television. The way that they play with everything, and the way that everything fits together, and the way that these characters all come into the same storyline just feels right and feels earned, and everything, there's stuff that comes to a head and directions that it goes that I was not expecting, and there's just so many great episodes. Half of the episodes in this season are standout episodes, and that's what makes this a truly standout season. And I loved BoJack Horseman Season 5, and I'm going to give BoJack Horseman Season 5 a rating of 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's going to do it for today, folks. BoJack Horseman Season 5, I loved it. I thought it was great, and I only just started the show this year, and it keeps getting better. It really does. And this is the best season, and I would be surprised if they managed to top themselves again, because I thought Season 4 was the best season, and before that I thought Season 3 was the best season. So, we'll see exactly how it goes. But yeah, fantastic season of television. Can't wait to see what they do next. If you're interested in other videos that I have reviews out for lots of stuff: Chernobyl, Luther, Jessica Jones, all kinds of TV shows, many Doctor Who videos, and some Game of Thrones reviews, a couple Black Mirror reviews, all that kinds of stuff, if it's any bit piques your interest. But if not, that's totally cool. I appreciate your time here today. But that is going to do it for now, folks. So, thank you for watching. Take care, and have a lovely week.